welcome back to our USA Regions series for Map of the Month. We're going to be tackling the Midwest today, and I'd like to, yes, on the last video we focused on the compass rose, and I'd like to talk about the map grid in this video. So let's take a look at the region's Midwest map, and if you notice, we have a nice decorative border along the edge, which you can embellish even more, and you can make it into a map grid as well. The reason I think it's important to do that is many atlases use a map grid when they're creating the map, and you can see along the side of the map there are letters, and along the top we have numbers. And basically you can, using that grid system, you can locate things. In the index of the atlas, many times they refer to this with the coordinates, like for instance they'll say D2. Okay, in order to find D2 on a map, you find the D along the side and the 2 along the top, and where those two lines intersect, that's the location, D2. Okay, so we'll do it on our map and it'll be even easier to understand. What I'd like to do is along the side, I'd like to create some grid for some letters. Okay, so I'm going to put a capital A right in that rectangle right there. Okay, and I'll go down, I'll center it in the middle of that rectangle. This would be C, D, E. So along the side we're going to have letters running up and down the map. Here's G, at the last one would be G. And along the top we'll have numbers. Okay, so and you can see I already did the other side of the map, so I put the letters along both sides, A through G. Okay, now along the top we'll put some numbers, starting with 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we'll go all the way to 9. Okay, so, and you can see I've done along the bottom, I've also put the numbers along the bottom. And so that makes it easy to locate something. So if I wanted to, for instance, locate Lake Superior, which I've already, you can see on this Midwest map, I've labeled all of the Great Lakes. Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and Lake Ontario. So if I wanted to find the position of Lake Superior, I could tell people, just look at roughly A6, and you'll see Lake Superior. Here's A and here's 6. Okay, Lake Michigan would be located at about C6, kind of in the middle between 6 and 7. Okay, Lake Huron would be B8. Okay, so let's see, Lake Erie would be C8, B9 for Lake Ontario. Okay, so once you get those letters and numbers on there, then you can kind of make your border look a little bit decorative. You can either circle it, the letter, or just put like a little box around each letter. And then you can do the same thing with the numbers. And then you can color those boxes in. Let me show you how you might do that. This will give a very nice, colorful border. And you can work your way all the way around that. Let me show you how it looks on the, you can see along the side I've colored. And same thing along the top. Okay, so that's a great way to kind of create a map grid for your map, and that way you can locate things on the map easily. And that's very common to a lot of maps. All right, kind of like a latitude and longitude system in a way too, which you'll probably be learning as well. Okay, now some other things I'd like to talk about on this map of the Midwest regions is one of the states was a little tricky to label, and that was Michigan, because Michigan has this area connected. It's sort of like the main, I guess you could say, the lower part of Michigan, more southern, and then we have the upper part, which is a peninsula going out with the Great Lakes around it. They call that the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So you've got the main body here of Michigan and then the Upper Peninsula. So just to make that pretty clear, I kind of stretched the word Michigan across that area. Okay, and that makes it a little bit, then there's no question that this is also Michigan. Okay, the Great Lakes were pretty easy to label. Illinois was a little tight, but I was able to fit that in there pretty good. And you'll find that most of the other states are quite doable too. Nothing too difficult. So do your research on that. I also wanted to, we did the lower portion of the Mississippi on the southeast map. So I'd like to also talk about the upper part of the Mississippi, which the source of the upper Mississippi would be right here, and this is the state of Minnesota. Let's label it right now. Now remember, I'm using all capital letters for the state names. I think you should use all capitals. And if you're going to put the source of the Mississippi, it's a small little lake right there. I believe it's called Lake Itasca. So I'll actually label it with lowercase letters, Lake Itasca, Itaska. And it kind of loops, it's kind of like a little, almost looks like a hook. Goes up and around like that, down to the capital, which is St. Paul. And then it actually follows the boundary. I'll color in that little lake there, and then I'll go over my line. Just kind of do your best to sketch this little portion that goes into Minnesota, starts in Minnesota, and then it joins the state boundary. And then it's just an easy matter of following that. You can just trace over, color, shade around that line that goes down past Illinois. This will meet up with the southeast region, which we did in the last video. Okay, so this is the source of the river, and then when it goes way down to the Gulf of Mexico, that's the mouth of the river where it enters into the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, I'm gonna label Mississippi. River. And the letters right along that river there, easy to read. And that's really a good look at some of the more challenging things on this map. Let's look at a finished version to see. And I've also shown a way to make these states, when you to sort of stand out from each other. You can see what I did is after labeling them all, I also put a little edging of color for each state always putting a different color for neighboring states. Okay, and that's a good way to make those states stand out from each other too. So now once again, take a look at this. You can stop the video if you want to use this as your reference for the states: North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Okay, so those make up all of the Midwest states. And you can see I've also colored in the earthworm and compass rose. Okay, and you can really see that map grid now. So I can locate, let's locate Des Moines, Iowa. Okay, that would be located at D5. Okay, so there you have it. That's a great way to locate things on your map, and you can really also add a lot more color if you shade around each individual state. And sometimes that's better than coloring the whole state in too, because then you have room to add other things like other cities and whatever else you're adding to your map. Your teacher's going to have you probably talking about different products from these states maybe, and you'll have room to write those in later on if you do it this way. All right, thanks a lot.